Mike Kern here with Adam Emenecker, and time for another shoot around in the league. And I'm going to start you off with just one word. We'll say Valpo.
Yeah, how about a big win for the Crusaders, Mike? Ending the Drake streak, 18 games to start the season. Drake now 18-1, 9-1 in the Missouri Valley, and really impressive. I thought in both games, honestly, for the Crusaders. Up 10 in game one, Drake makes a furious comeback and ends up winning by 3. But the game plan coming back game two, Matt Loddick, I thought just sticking to what they did defensively, did a great job challenging the top offense in the league, held Drake to 36% shooting from the field, only 2 of 15 from the 3-point line as well. And, a couple great performances. I think it shows the ceiling that this Valpo Crusaders ball club has. Ben Cricky, 15 over the course of the average 15 over the course of the 2 games. We saw Gordon average 10, and I thought made really timely and tough plays that you expect out of one-year upperclassmen. But the guy that really put the punctuation on it, Sheldon Edwards, averaged 15 over the course of 2 games. But man, a big time dunk over Joe Yesufu, getting into SportsCenter's top 10. A lot to celebrate down in Valpo land.
Well, and Drake's right back at it again. They've got a busy in-state rival game on Wednesday, and then they've got 2 big games on ESPN2 against Loyola. The Wednesday game against Northern Iowa on CBS Sports Network, and talk a little bit about those 3 matchups for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, 4 games in 7 days for Drake. So that's going to be a big time challenge. No rest for the weary, as they say, and to come back and not only play the in-state rival, but this headline game we've been talking about with Loyola and even Northern Iowa. Listen, this Northern Iowa team is feisty. They just ended a team that had a winning streak of their own. Indiana State had won 7 in a row, and the Sycamores finally fall to the Panthers. I think you look at guys like Trey Burhow, and you start to see the freshmen Heisey and Bourne and what they're able to do for this Panther ball club. They're really growing into themselves as players, and Noah Carter has shown that he can score points in a hurry. Those are going to be tough games for the Bulldogs. This Northern Iowa team starting to play better and better.
You touched briefly on Indiana State and their 7-game streak. They haven't had a 7-game winning streak in the league since Greg Lansing's first year in 2011, the year and they went to the NCAA tournament. And they also hadn't shut down opponents 4 games in a row with 60 points or less since that 2001 season, which they also went to the NCAA tournament. But talk a little bit about the Indiana streaks that ended at Northern Iowa, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that is, from an Indiana State perspective, this team is just so dangerous. And I think a big part of the reason, we know Tyreek Key can score. We know Jake LaRavia can be a playmaker. We know that they have balance. Cooper Neese can bomb it from distance. Trey Williams scores well on the inside. But I think the steps that they've taken defensively to really help take teams out of their sets and make them uncomfortable in the half court, I think that's been a big part of the success. And listen, this Indiana State team, they played the toughest schedule up front. They won 7 in a row before losing the game to the Panthers. I expect them to continue to get back on that hill, start climbing up and picking up wins.
And another team who has a streak that didn't end was Loyola. They've won 10 in a row. They have Drake, as we know, this weekend, and they've got 3 games at home, sitting at 12-1 in league play. Ramblers are in good shape right now.
Yeah, their only conference loss to the Indiana State team we just mentioned. And the big matchup this weekend, and looking beyond that, Mike. So 12-1, and yes, really looking forward to watching Drake Loyola. It's going to be a great time here in the Knapp Center in Des Moines. But if you look beyond the games that Loyola has, they have all home games after this. So they play Valpo at home as part of the home and home. That's their travel partner. And then Southern Illinois twice. So yes, Southern Illinois will probably have Marcus Domask back, but the schedule looks pretty favorable for the Ramblers if they can survive here in Des Moines.
Love Valley basketball this season and the players you're seeing. Some of the media has reported some players indicating their return for next year as they're eligible to do, and talk about what you've heard in that space.
Yeah, I mean, the first one we heard earlier this week was Gage Prim, and that's big news for Missouri State fans. The chemistry we've seen between Prim and Mosley and just the inside-out combination that they provide. If you look at Dana Ford's bunch and you think they get a little bit older and more experienced for the role players, having Gage Prim and Isaiah Mosley both back next year means that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think it was the coach's conference call earlier today, Mike. Coach Darren DeVries said he expects his whole Drake team to be back. So it's going to be being a senior is not what it's meant in other years. Really interested to see how the rosters will shake up next year. And I'm sure this is plenty for coaches to manage. But I can tell you this, from a fan's perspective, especially some of these high level teams, to be able to see these kids for an extra year, it's going to be pretty fun, pretty exciting.
and pretty fun and exciting for us. We've got just a few days left before our conference tournament, headed toward the State Farm MVC Championship, which starts on March the 4th, but we'll visit a couple more times before then. Always good to talk with you, Adam.
Yeah, same to you. Good to see you, Mike.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you later.